Welcome to Pure Hustle Podcast. I'm Mike.
And this is Orlando, and we're here for another Monday mini-sode.
Yeah,
Worlds
we're
apart.
doing this a little bit different today. And if you want to find out why, kind of the whole story behind the reason we've got this unique setup for our Monday Mini, check out our upcoming podcast that's going to release on Wednesday. We kind of go into the story a little bit more. And so if you're not following us on YouTube, you haven't already hit the subscribe button, you're not already actively following us on other social media platforms or listening to us on podcasts, every Wednesday we release an episode that goes into a lot more detail on a lot of things. But on Mondays, we cover one topic in a short amount of time. So what are we talking about today, Orlando?
So we're talking about something highly controversial. So if you haven't yet, smash that like button, smash it before I introduce this. Subscribe and make sure to hit that bell notification. But I want to talk about why it's important. We're going to give the 5 reasons it's important to share on social media, whether that means on Instagram, the soon to be banned TikTok, YouTube, Discord, whatever it may be, because it's counterintuitive. And I know, years ago, and even now, there's a lot of people that are saying, oh, you're killing the market, you're saturating things, you're creating competition for yourself. But the reality is, sharing on social media is only going to make you a better reseller, and it's just going to build your business. So let me give you the first one. Here, it provides much needed feedback, right? When you're a reseller, it's a very solitary process, right? Yeah, like me, I'm not married. I don't have a significant other. It's just me doing my business. Now, Mike and I have a podcast. So obviously, I bounce ideas off of him, and I know other resellers in the area. But I've learned so much. I'll post something on social media, and people, they're quick with that, armchair, response, going, "Oh, that was, that was dumb. Why did you ship it that way?" And there will be haters out there, but sometimes you gotta get away from, the emotion of it and go, "Okay, why did they say that?" And it gives you time to reflect. Now, overall, I would say 90+% of people on social media that have given me feedback, it's been positive. It's been like, "Hey, have you thought about shipping things this way? How about using this carrier? When you're sourcing at this store, you probably should also be looking for these items." Or here's a bolo, or whatever it may be. There's always a feedback. Customer service, you'll share something on social media and people are like, yeah, I had somebody, that I dealt with in the same scenario, and this is what I did. And you go, wow, I didn't know that. No one else would have given me that feedback. So there's a lot of power in using social media to your advantage by taking that feedback and bettering your business.
Yeah, that's right. And then also that kind of leads into this next one because it's a big part of that because when you get that feedback, it's one of the ways you're developing your knowledge base. But the more active you are in a community of social media resellers, the more you're going to learn about a specific niche that you're in, the more you're going to learn about, like you said, certain techniques for packing things, shipping things, listing things. And even if you're, not the kind of person who wants to post yourself, talking about what you sourced and reselling, just being active in the community, participating in those discussions, those comments is going to build a reputation as somebody who is involved in the community. You're going to get a lot of help and knowledge with things. You're going to be able to ask questions. If someone just randomly asks a question, they're not part of the community, you're not going to necessarily want to help them out as much as if it's somebody who's constantly involved. You see them commenting, you see them posting things, you see them, being involved in the community. And if you're already not on the reseller algorithm side of whether it's TikTok or Insta Reels or Facebook, how like if you're swiping through things and if you're really into cars or you're really into golfing or whatever it is you're interested in, nature pictures, those are going to be the videos that are going to keep coming up, keep coming up. And if you're not already in the reseller side of that, you got to get that algorithm to know one way or another that those are the types of things you're looking for, whether you search it a few times and then scan, because I've learned so much just being part of the community, watching other people do things. And yeah, you might think like, okay, if somebody shares a hot bolo of an item that they can get at Target and sell on Amazon, yeah, that floods a market. But if someone's just sharing like, hey, this is what you look for in shoe soles to make sure that the shoe is good when you sell it, or here's what you look for, that knowledge base gain that you're going to get is just, it's worth its weight in gold.
No, I agree. I have learned so much about different niches. I mean, this is what got me started, on Hot Wheels, or got me started the other day. There were some plushes that I had learned by watching somebody else's story. And sure enough, when I was going through local deals, I saw what they were talking about. I'm like, wow, okay, I'm going to pick that up. And it was profitable. Now, it also helps you avoid mistakes. I'll never forget one time when I was shipping a ton of stuff out to Amazon through FBA. I had these massive Walmart boxes, and for whatever reason, I didn't know that you weren't allowed to ship boxes that big. And what happens if you ship them out and they arrive, they can either reject it or there's going to be a hefty penalty. And luckily, I posted on social media that I found these boxes. It's going to be great. I can put a ton of inventory, and automatically everybody's like, Orlando, that's not going to work, and this is why. And sure enough, saved myself a ton of money and helped me make the right call, right? Or sometimes I posted an Instagram story, and there's like a grail that I was going through the racks of clothing, and I missed it, and somebody DM me and said, "Hey, by the way, you know how much that shirt is worth?" I'm like, "What? That much?" And I've been able to go back in the store, pick up that shirt, and make that sale. So I avoided leaving that money on the table. So sharing on social media definitely will help you out.
Yeah, that's good. And one of the ways that I feel like it helps the most is it helps keep you motivated. In two ways. One, when you're involved in the community, you're on social media and you're involved in the reselling community, you're going to see other people doing really well. You're going to see other people, hey, they went sourcing, they picked up this thing. Maybe it's dead for me today in garage sales, but people are still killing it. I got to get back out there next week. And even if you're the kind of person who's maybe not motivated to list your death piles, maybe not motivated to go to a garage sale this weekend, if you've made a commitment, like, hey, I'm going to post on social media the things that I'm picking up. I've started to get a following base. There's people who enjoy watching my videos or enjoy watching the things that I'm posting. That alone could be the motivation that you need to get out there and do something. I know there's, even for me with the podcast, there's times where I've got other things going on in my life, and I'm like, you know what, I've got to at least get to a garage sale. I've got to get to a thrift store, because I'm not going to go a week of saying, hey, Orlando, yeah, my update this week is I didn't do anything reselling at all, right? Like, and so that motivation of, like, it's almost like accountability. I want to get out there. And then it's a lot of times, those times, like, I'm just going to walk into a thrift store, kind of look around, maybe I'll find something, then I could use it to talk about on the podcast. And then that's when big scores come in. And if I didn't have that motivation, almost that external, because you need to be intrinsically motivated, but having a little bit of external push, whether it's people who, are commenting on your stuff, or just watching other people do really well, like, oh man, that's awesome. I got to get out there because look at that score. Other people are getting those scores. It could be me. And that motivation is amazing.
Yeah, agree. And overall, it's just uber profitable. Whether it be all the bolos that you come across, whether it's the savings that you make in shipping by realizing the best way to ship things. I mean, all that is money in your pocket. Whether you find out, what is the best way to source, you learn how to negotiate, from Mike and I talking about it, or somebody else. You learn about, what is the best way to source at the bins or at a thrift store, at a garage sale. Overall, you just make money, and then you connect yourself to a reselling community that is wider than your local community. And I can't tell you how many times I get DMs. I just recently shared on Instagram a week ago where I didn't have a great Saturday doing garage sales. And somebody had DM me and said, hey, by the way, on Facebook Marketplace, somebody's selling this Wii U for $50 and a bunch of games, and it looks like a great deal. And sure enough, I jumped on it. I took off. I went over there. I picked it up. And within 24 hours, I sold all the video games, made profit. And now I just need that Wii U to sell. I'm going to make another $150 to $200, all from just sharing how terrible garage sales went. So you don't always have to celebrate the wins. You can just document what you're doing. But overall, reselling is definitely going to improve for you if you're sharing on social media. So make sure you get out there, get uncomfortable. It's going to be a little awkward, but it's definitely going to be worth it to you. And with that being said, make sure to be real,
Be relevant.
and be reselling leads.
Peace.